faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Look, up in the sky, it's a bird brain, it's a plane, it's iWalter. Yes, it's iWalter, strange visitor from another planet who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. iWalter, who can change the course of mighty rivers, bend ears with his annoying voice, and who disguised as Walter Interranti, mild-mannered janitor for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth, nonsense, and the American way. And now, another exciting episode in the adventures of iWalter.
Good morning, everyone. This is Walter on Thursday. I'm actually in a couple hours. I'm supposed to be heading down to Philadelphia for the next 4 days for the WizardCon. I said I wasn't going to do another show, but I got my new bumper finally. Actually, I shouldn't say finally. It was only a few days. The guy did an incredible job. I like it. It's about a minute long, though, which is fine because I gave him a lot of information to help me record. So he did a really good job. I like it. So I'm in the middle of watching these shows. I should be actually getting ready for bed so I can get up. It was funny. I was watching, when I go home, I just turn on MeTV all the time because I really like that station. And there was this TV show on called Perry Mason. It was considered the new Perry Mason, but they're actually old right now. They're about 30 years old, or 40 years old, I should say. Anyway, I looked over and I had taken a glimpse, and it was funny because I saw this one actor. I was like, yeah, I saw him before in this movie called, it was called The Stepfather. Not the remake, but the original ones, because those were really disturbing. I could barely get through those. Those things really freaked me out. And it's funny because the guy who actually played the stepfather in the original ones was Terry O'Quinn, and he actually was in Lost as well. But he did a really good job. He played in both of them, and he looked really, because he wore a wig, because he was supposed to be this guy who keeps on killing families. Like, he gets married to these women who have a family, and then when things don't go his way, he ends up killing them all. So they were really demented movies, original ones. But yeah, he played in those. And I remember him from Lost as well. He was in that for a while. Anyway, there was something on afterwards. It was Night Gallery. And at first I thought I didn't see this one. And it was, I already forgot the name, but it's funny because it's Rod Serling, and some of the episodes from Night Gallery are exactly what he did in Twilight Zone, because there was a Twilight Zone where there was this woman who was in a hospital and she tried to get all this plastic surgery done because she thought she was ugly, and they never showed the faces of anybody in the hospital, like the doctors and the nurses. So there, you would just assume, and she had bandages on her face, this was in the Twilight Zone, that she was really ugly looking, like she was real hideous, and they couldn't fix her face. So you find out at the end, they said, oh, well, we can send you to another planet where people look just like you and they'll accept you for what you look like. I think that's what they did. You know what? It's been a while. Maybe I'm getting both confused. But he did basically did a similar thing on Night Gallery. But anyway, you find out the woman looks normal. Everybody else is all like screwed up in the face. They got like these pig noses. So he did something like that on Night Gallery, and I'm sorry, I forgot the name of it. But this guy's son. The son was the one who was all deformed, and he looked like somebody like basically got a ball of wax or melted, a candle and melted over his head. The son, this guy's son, and they show his face right away, and everybody else seemed to be normal. But this kid looked like he was completely deformed, and they couldn't do anything about it, so they suggested, well, why don't you just put the kid to sleep, because there's no way we're going to be able to fix, all the surgery in the world's not going to fix his face. So it was supposed to be a futuristic one. You're talking like 1970, though. So they said, oh, well, we had made contact with this other planet that needed more they need to repopulate their planet, and they said, oh, you could send your son to this other planet. And it was funny because it was called Boron and the planet, and it was like Boron, and it's like, yeah, Rod Serling really went far on that one. It's like boron is more like probably what he got the word from, and he just says, oh, I'll just change, I assume, boron into boron. But you got to remember, though, maybe you don't know this, but Rod Serling actually made the original Planet of the Apes as well. He's the creator of that whole thing. So if you ever watched the original Planet of the Apes, that's Rod Serling's masterpiece. And I think he actually might have influenced, I assume, I could be wrong, because I was told actually it could have been Hitchcock. I think it was both Hitchcock and Serling that influenced M. Night Shyamalan. If I get a chance, I'm going to have to ask him tomorrow if I make it down in time. But, yeah, so, anyway, this kid, he goes on this other planet, and apparently there was an exchange going on where they exchanged, I think they did the same thing with the Twilight Zone, the outcome. This one kid on this other planet of Boron looked normal, and everybody else looked like this kid who looked deformed. So it was pretty good. Now I'm watching, actually, I'm going to poke around. Okay, it's a commercial. I'm watching Hitchcock, and he's got some weird episode I've never seen before, so I'm kind of half glancing at that. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to try to do some recording of some shows when I'm down in Philadelphia over the weekend and starting tomorrow. And if I can get any celebrities to talk to me, or if I can get a couple words out of them, I will definitely put on my podcast. But, so I'm just going to go through these, try to keep it light. Yeah, I feel bad for her. You know, I don't think she looks that bad. Excuse me, I'm speaking about Selena Gomez. They just seem, these web pages just seem to harp on that she put on weight, and I hate to say it, she looks normal to me. So, I mean, she doesn't look any different. She's 21 now, I guess, and they're just making a big deal out of, like, oh my God, she put on so much weight since she, finally broke it off, or he broke it off with, Justin Bieber. That's no longer they're no longer an item, which I'm glad it is over. I hope it's permanent this time, and it's not one of these deals she goes back to him. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of pictures. I'm trying to figure out it says Selena Gomez -cool.wonderfuldailygallery.net, and it's got pictures of her. I got it on my Facebook page. I feel bad for her. I think she looks just as good as she always did. And I actually went to two of her concerts, and I thought she did a really good job. She surprised me. She's a really good performer, a good singer. So I would go to her again in a heartbeat. I just like her, and not in the way you're probably thinking. I just enjoy listening to her music. She puts on a good performance, and I don't say that about many people her age. Anyway, I'm finally glad to see this. It was on Uprocks. They're talking about Supergirl, the series, officially coming to CBS. So, yeah, I've been kind of waiting for that. I heard through the grapevine, I guess, friends, because I liked, believe it or not, I'm one of the few people who liked that Supergirl movie. I forget the woman's name who played Supergirl. It was a little quirky. It wasn't great, but it was the same director, I think, who also did the ones with Christopher Reeve. And, it wasn't it wasn't the best movie, but it wasn't the worst. I actually enjoyed it, and I actually watched a lot of other things. Spin-offs like Lois and Clark, which I couldn't get into too much, and all the other there was actually a Superboy series, too. Anyway, if you haven't noticed, that's where I kind of got my idea for my thing. I actually had taken the monologue from the original. To me, it's the original. There actually was stuff before that. The original Superman TV series with George Reeves, and just changed it to my iWalter slogan. Anyway, yeah, this was it caught my attention, this story. I'm going to go back and forth once again. But this guy actually is a perfect donor for his wife. She needed a kidney, and he gave one of his to his wife. I mean, it's a good story. It's on Philly.com. I'm not going to read. I'm not going to screw up my stories like I did yesterday. There was another one, unfortunately, on the Huffington Post, Green, and it was about this fisherman, and I think it was planted, not planet, but planted in the lake. He was a fisherman catches piranha on Arkansas Lake, and he said he almost messed his pants because when he tried to take the hook out, he thought he had some type of other fish until the man saw these teeth in this mouth of this fish he caught. So, yeah, it's something you wouldn't normally see in Arkansas at the lake that he was fishing, but they're thinking that somebody literally basically put it into the lake. So that's on the Huffington Post Green. Again, I'm not going to go into full detail because that way you don't have to hear me mess up words. Oh, yeah, this was an interesting story. It's on my Facebook page again. It was from Uproxx Web Culture. Actually, I saw it on another link, too, but this one kind of just was easy to grab. And it was same story, different places you will find it, but this one's from Uproxx. And it says, someone left this under water skeleton tea party as an apparent ode to Weekend at Bernie's. Oh, and an ode to the Weekend at Bernie's. Yeah, and I've read this other article. And there's these two skeletons basically lounging on the bottom of the ocean. They actually were covered with moss and stuff. It was kind of funny. So yeah, it was kind of like a joke kind of thing. So yeah, you can find that. Actually, again, there's a couple different links I had that same story. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Actually, it was funny talking about, because I'm going back to that pictures of Selena Gomez, and they're doing a comparison. It's like she does not look that bad. I just think they're just really hard on the poor girl, and that kind of bothers me. But yeah, it was funny. Yesterday, I was going to mention this. But I was watching, it was the shortest show I could watch because I bought a bunch of these TV shows on iTunes. I have no time to watch any of them, so I'm more concerned about doing this than, which is not going to get me anywhere, but more so than watching a bunch of TV programs and living somebody else's life. So I'm sorry, I got distracted. I gotta take that away. I turn on, I bought RuPaul, this new season. I don't like it as much as last season. I think last season had I'm not saying the people are bad, but they had a lot more to offer last time than this one. There's a couple people. The one guy almost got voted off. He's still on, this heavyset guy. He's really good, though. He's really, really, really good. I don't remember his name, unfortunately, but he almost got voted off. Anyway, I was kind of shocked, but they had on as one of the judges is Alyssa Milano, and it was okay, that name sounds really familiar, but it didn't look like her. She was so heavy, because she was pregnant, basically. She was so huge, it looked like somebody stuck an air pump up her butt and just blew her up like a balloon. I mean, she was huge, and it was why do I know that name, but I don't recognize his face? And it was wait a minute, that's Melissa Milano, because I remembered her. I liked her in Charmed. I was a big fan of the TV series. At first, I kept on fighting watching the show. And then I finally started watching Charmed, and it was wait, this is really good. And it was actually the first. I was kind of jaded because the first 3 seasons I thought were the best because they had on, what do you call it, from 90210 and also in Mallrats, which I was supposed to see her. I'm drawing a blank. I'm doing that thing I hate to do. You're going to hear keyboards now. It will come. Oh, I'm going to get her name wrong. Oh, here we go. And get something wrong at least on this show. Shannon Doherty, I thought she was actually Asian or something, because to me she looks that way. I was supposed to see her in Philly, and she canceled out, so I was really pissed off. But I think Sharon Doherty, I heard she's, from different people, I've heard she's hard to work with. This guy that runs the convention said, "Oh, that's not true. Everybody says that she's impossible to work with." It's like, yeah, I've heard that from more than one person. When I met Kevin Smith, I forgot to ask him that. But honestly, I think she's like an incredible actress. I love her for her acting, at least. I heard she had a reality show on. Yeah, I would see anything with Shannon Doherty. But I really got off track, didn't I? But yeah. So yeah, I forgot. I lost my train of thought, folks. So I'm sorry about that. But yeah, so Melissa Milano, because she was on that show too, and honestly, I loved her too. I loved her character. I actually liked Shannon Doherty much, much more, though. I'm sorry, I just thought she was like the best out of all the people they had on Charmed. But yeah, when I saw her on RuPaul as a judge, I was like, oh my god, I still love her, but she just looked huge. I mean, you could probably put some strings on her and run her down at the parades they have, for New Year's or whatever. I mean, she was huge, and I know she'll lose the weight. I mean, that's just a thing with Italians. I'm Italian slash what do you call it, Sicilian, so we kind of got to watch because we're just known we like the heavy foods that aren't good for you, basically. So, anyway, yeah, I just had to mention that because I was going to say that yesterday, and I actually totally forgot. Well, I'm also looking forward for this weekend. Hopefully I can bring some stuff to my show, since I bought this very expensive bumper for my show that will kind of, make a better contribution than me just basically jabbing my jaws and saying absolutely nothing about a bunch of stuff that leads to nowhere. Like what I just said, basically. Yeah, so I will try to keep people posted. I will try to pack things tomorrow, including my mic, and see what I can come up with and who I can talk to over the weekend. Anyway, I hope you like my new bumper. There was a few things I probably forgot, but this is more than enough for a show tonight. And folks, hopefully I can bring you some better entertainment than I have now that I'm actually going to something where I'm going to meet like celebrities. Anyway, have a good Thursday morning and hopefully Thursday night, and by then this weekend I'll have some stuff I can put on my show. All right, everyone, have a good Thursday morning.
You are now listening to the iWalter Show. Real talk about nothing.